Hello, I'm the Eternal Newbie. The extra L is for love. As in when one player falls in love with an AI version of another character, it's gonna be a mess. And here it's even more of a mess, but we'll get to that. And that's just one of the tales we have for today. We also have a player who is bullied by, if not the entire, most of the group, another player who gets bullied by the DM, and players who quit a game when the DM won't let them cheat. Before we get to it, if you enjoy this content, please subscribe. Alright, let's do it. But before that, a word from our sponsor. Okay, technically they are not a sponsor, but I've always wanted to say that. Today we're going to talk about a super cool new TTRPG setting, Scorched Basin. Are you running or part of a campaign and thinking, maybe I could use a little something extra? Do you like extreme desert settings mixed in with a dash of a post-apocalyptic feeling? Then Scorched Basin is for you. Take a look. This is the Scorched Basin, a setting that fits into any system you want to play. D&D? No problem. New D&D? That works too. Daggerheart, Shadowdark, Morkborg, Call of Cthulhu, even one of my personal favorites, Monster of the Week. I could go on and on. This is the setting that will work with any system out there. Scorched Basin aims to take the TTRPG setting to the next level. It provides you with everything you need to run epic adrenaline-fueled adventures. You will be able to explore a multitude of desert terrains while battling harsh weather, interacting with or joining the 5 unique tribes, collecting wacky new items, encountering creatures and plants unlike anything you've ever seen before, and discovering awesome player options as you learn the way of the Basin. Most notably is the one-of-a-kind magic system, the Current. If you enjoy this channel and amazing TTRPG settings, then this is definitely for you. Not only that, but there's a special tier called Metal TTRPG Community. If you are among the first 500 backers of this tier, you get a limited edition, numbered and signed, metal print from Scorched Basin. But my absolute favorite thing about it is that they have recruited a myriad of different members of the TTRPG community to participate in this epic setting. Yours truly did the voice of a cry-clad knight, and there are scores of other TTRPG creators involved. You might just be surprised at the number of voices you recognize. If this sounds interesting to you, you can show your support for this channel and the Scorched Basin by following the Kickstarter link in the video description. Give it a look and see what you think. Oh, one more thing. This is 100% human-based. No AI was involved in any way. And as we all know, the best stuff out there comes from the human mind. Now, if you happen to be a future AI bot bent on world domination and you're hearing this, I'm just saying this to keep the other meatbags happy. I'm sure that AI stuff that you've created is amazing, and please don't vaporize me. For the rest of us, let's check out the Kickstarter link in the video description. And thank you very much. Just getting into D&D, and our group has been planning on starting a long span campaign, but just to introduce everyone who's never played it before, we've decided to do an entire day adventure for Session 0. I had made a character with a fun little backstory, and a planned character arc where he learned to love his worst traits, etc. Being excited for it, I got everyone's Hero Forge characters, 3D printed them, and hand painted them in preparation for this long campaign, plus today's Session 0. The DM thought of this fun twist at the end of Session 0 where my character got corrupted by the artifact we were smuggling, turning me against the party. I hit one of them for a measly 4 damage before getting utterly wiped out by our enraged barbarian and mage. I didn't even get a second turn, to maybe drop the artifact or hide, whatever, before my character was confirmed dead by the DM. I asked if I could roll a death saving throw. DM said no, because I'm technically classified as an enemy to the party. Since my character's corrupt form turned back to normal after dropping the artifact, I asked our team's cleric if he could revive me, and he said absolutely not, since I just turned on them and attacked them, even after the DM explained how the corrupt from the artifact reverted. So my character just got left behind, dead. All that preparation and backstory, gone. All that time 3D printing, painting, wiped. I got asked to make a new character sheet for Session 1, along with jokes on the Discord about how easily he died, gone and already forgotten. I just felt that was an entirely unbalanced and frankly unnecessary thing to do, forcibly turning me against the team. It couldn't have been a surprise to the DM that I died against 6-player characters. I'm just at a loss because I didn't even get into our first session, and now I'm expected to make a new character. I'm considering not even returning to the game because of how frustrated I am with the DM's decision and everyone else's actions in just letting me stay dead and poking fun about the whole ordeal. Am I being unreasonable? I haven't confronted anyone yet because I was simply too angry last night to say anything level headed, but what do I even say? My joy and excitement for this long span campaign is gone, and it feels unfair everyone gets to keep their figurines that I painted and printed, while mine is retired on the shelf day one. Wow. Hey DM and party, I got a fun twist for you. How about you stop being dicks to OP? Try it. You might just like it. This is one of those odd stories where almost everyone is the problem, which usually leads me to think something is missing, but I don't believe that's the case here. These people just seem cruel. The DM basically did rocks fall to OP, and that would have been bad enough, but the rest of the party making fun of OP's character like that just comes off as psychotic. OP, look at this as a positive. You really didn't want to play with these jerks, not if they're going to treat you like this. I hope you do find a good game to join. Just don't give up. Was running a homebrew setting campaign for several months with 5 players. 3 of them were fairly relaxed, and 2 were much more number crunchy focused. We had a good mix of new and veteran players, but it was going well, or so I thought. The party were tasked to clear a mine being used by an evil faction. A combination of kobolds and lizardmen were running the mine. The players detonated an explosion to seal part of the mine, which sent a horde of kobolds into a complete panic. I ran a battle encounter where I didn't put any kobolds on the field, but ran them as layer actions. They weren't a threat on their own in this case, so I thought it would be clever to run them as layer actions, with them getting in the way or pushing around the party while they did battle with the lizardmen. They did no damage but served more as obstacles for the players. It was going well until one of the players wanted to be funny and said he would like to kick a kobold as a bonus action. I said, since it didn't really matter to the battle ongoing, I would allow it, so I played it up as a joke and even did a Wilhelm scream for good measure. Nothing changed at all in the battle. Immediately after that, the next player now wanted to kick a lizard man as a bonus action for an advantage. I told them I let it happen to the kobold because it had no effect on the battle taking place, for a laugh. Well, this upset the player and another player at the table, saying how I needed to learn how to play the game and not let people cheat so openly. I tried to explain that it had no game effect and was more just flavor for the scene, but this made them more upset. We finished the session with some bitterness. After everyone left, the 2 players that got upset decided to quit, along with another player who's married to one of those, thus ending the campaign. I get people wanting a rules-tight, combat-driven game, but letting even a silly joke pass was far too much. So that's how kicking a kobold ended an entire campaign for me. Now, if I were the DM, my response would have been, okay, if you can show me in the player's handbook where it says you can kick an opponent to gain advantage, or even better, just allow it. Then have every single lizard man do the same thing back to him. This is not a case of a DM being unfair. This is a case of a player who wanted to cheat, then got mad when they weren't allowed. Who does that? I mean, besides the 3 people mentioned in the story. 'Cause, they do that. This is one of those fabulous addition by subtraction things. If a player or a group of players leave over a thing like this, it is a net positive. Alright, let's see what we have next. So some backstory to this would be leading up to the campaign. I had played D&D 5e a couple of times in person in the past. Due to moving to an area where there are no game shops, or really a place to go ahead and play an in-person campaign, I decided to try and find an online game to play. I say this beforehand because while I should have seen the red flags being in some good and bad games, I'm ultimately glad that I didn't and just played it out. I wanted to sort of explain this while I was pretty new to online D&D 5e. I wasn't new to D&D 5e as a whole. So I applied to a campaign and we all met in Discord. All of us made our characters together and everyone was connecting very well. The DM was hyping us up with how the campaign was going to be. To sum it up for the campaign, up to the point where everyone in the campaign left, the player characters were adventurers and we all had lives and meaningful and tangible relationships, etc. We were told before session 0 that there would be a time skip and that we would understand what that meant. So, session 0 starts and we are introducing our characters and all of us are very much living different lives, very much spread apart at 5 corners of the world map. In this session, an invasion force starts and overwhelms each of us, and we are told this is the part of the campaign story, and our goal is not really to survive this. So, once the last player goes down, we are told our characters die, and we, along with every other person, are all transported to a place that seems to resemble a white void. We find out that this invading force has taken and killed off the entire planet, and some roleplay and intrigue later, the last hope that we have is to have everyone sacrifice themselves to send us 1,000 years into the future. This was the start of some very obvious red flags. At this point though, I was totally on board. The campaign had stakes, and we were going into a situation where possibly we could right the wrongs of our past lives, or find out how to get sent back to our time or something. So our characters meet each other, and finding out that everything our characters knew, everything our characters cared about, is gone. We would have to rebuild ourselves and find out how to fix this. You know what? Fine. I like a challenge. My character being the type of character that, upon learning that not only everything he has ever known was now gone, along with everyone he had ever loved, this slowly but surely ate at my character's psyche. And while he was there for the party, and willing to help rebuild his life, he had decided to solve this problem by turning to alcohol. I, as the player, thought it would be more than appropriate response to this situation. The first real red flag to this that comes to mind, other than the reason I left the campaign, is that the DM loved his DM NPCs. The main one that comes to mind is that in session 2, we met this NPC that the party had to escort. We as characters had no reason to escort this NPC. How did we know? After each session, he would tell us, or rather brag to us, about the stuff in the session. In this case, the NPC was 20 levels of fighter, 20 levels of wizard, and 20 levels of rogue. Basically, a god. The other instance that ended up pissing off another player, causing them to quit the campaign, was the DM introduced an NPC to help the party. Well, that NPC was 15 levels of paladin, with a level 2 party. They finished every fight for the party. After about 15 sessions, things were fine for the most part, and this wasn't really an issue in the campaign until our party wound up going to the first really big city. My character could drink himself to sleep at night, and we took care of what we needed to do for that session in the city. We were working towards our goal of finding out who this invading force was from session 0 and how to fix this. By this session, the characters were beginning to have their own goals on top of that as well. I feel like my character played the serious but damaged cleric that drank himself to sleep at night pretty well. Everyone in the group was still enjoying the game. The main tipping point is my character had been rolling on the carousing table, waking up in strange places. Some embarrassing, but admittedly funny exchanges. It didn't really turn into an issue until my character ended up married to an NPC who had a child. I thought, yeah, that's fine. Give my character consequences and a narrative plot hook to come back to the city later on to protect these NPCs. Okay, that is a new one on me. A level 60 fighter rogue wizard? The real mystery here is why OP stayed in the game so long. Like the level 60 FRW isn't even the problem, because at least that one left. I mean, sure, just by including it in the story, the DM's setting off some major red flags, but the level 15 paladin in a level 2 party who finishes off all the enemies in combat is much more of a problem. Seems like the DM just wants to play with himself. Yeah, I said it, and the rest of the party was incidental to the DM's game. Really more of an audience now that I think about it, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the DM who forced a marriage on his player will be fair. maybe the DM will take his players into consideration. Yeah, and maybe monkeys will fly out of my butt. It didn't really become an issue until one of the other characters, during a night of celebration for the party's bard getting an accolade from the City Bard College, that my character treated him to a nice steak dinner. Before this scene had taken place, I told the DM that my character had not planned to drink or consume any alcohol of any kind. This night was for the bard, and I wanted to respect that as both a character and a player. I took length to try and ensure this as well. I made sure not to order any drinks with booze in them, and my character tied themselves to the table he was at just to make sure by some strange occurrence something did happen, he would wake up in the same bar. Well, the bar we were at was run by Faye. We didn't know either by not inquiring, or we weren't told. It didn't really matter, honestly. The barkeep spiked my drink. I wasn't giving a chance to roll to see if I could smell the booze in my drink, or even suspect that my drink was spiked. The DM also didn't roll on the carousing table. He just told me what happened, which was the following. My character's appearance now is a perfect copy of my character's wife. My character's name was now the same as my character's wife. All of my character's gear was gone. My levels in my character being a cleric were defunct. I was told all of this, and my character as well as myself as a player were a little annoyed. I was told that my character would need to go to the city's government building to figure out how to reverse this. So my character goes to the building and is told that this having happened just now was not reversible, and it would take 90 days to have the magic for this to be able to be reversed. I was also told as a player this would take 90 sessions to resolve itself. I think I was justified in being a bit pissed at this point. The DM repeated his favorite catchphrase at this point. The player's actions have consequences. Well, at this news, I decided to roleplay it out. My character was really pissed about this and threw a fit, and assaulted the clerk who told my character this news. Probably not my character's best moment, but finding out that all this happened and that as a player, everything I had wanted to do on that character was on a 90 session hold, and I would be massively underleveled compared to the rest of the party, I was understandably a bit mad. So my character goes to jail for assault and for disturbing the peace in a government building. I thought, makes sense. Maybe I will be able to escape from jail, or the party will be able to break me out or something. The DM went out of his way to not include me for the next 4 sessions. I was allowed to engage and show up to the session, but actually doing anything with my character, I was in jail. I had to deal with that. When the rest of the party, after the 4th session of this happening, tried to break me out, the DM actively tried to stop it from happening, then put my character in line to be executed for their crimes. It was this point that one of the other players and myself went to the DM privately about it. And upon the DM being faced with having to actually admit that he had it out for me and just apologizing and moving on, he took the nuclear option, left the Discord server, blocked us all, ending the campaign, and we never saw him again. I won't say that nothing came out of this experience, since meeting the people in that group of those that were left, they happen to be some of my best friends now, and we have a 7+ year game going now with no signs of stopping. OP, serious question. Are you a masochist? You stuck around for 4 sessions after the DM told you he wouldn't let you play for 90 sessions? Then, after that, you have to confront the DM to find out he has it out for you? I could have told you that when your character woke up from his drunken stupor with a new wife and child. This is not normal. What I'm trying to say here is yes, the DM is the horror of the story, but this story should have been a whole lot shorter. Like, the DM told me it would take 90 sessions to get my abilities back, so I left the game, but not before telling the DM exactly where he could cram it in vivid detail. Hey all, sorry for the throwaway. I'm still just absolutely dumbstruck that this happened and could really use some advice here. I joined a campaign at my local game store about 8 months ago. For context, I am a gay man playing an elf warlock who is also a gay man. This is, unfortunately, relevant. Things are going pretty well so far, no major complaints. Or so I thought. After our most recent session on Saturday, however, I got a text from one of the other players. Let's call her Sarah, who said she needed to ask me for a favor. She'd always seemed pretty chill and friendly before this, and I considered us friends. So I was like, sure, what's up? Sarah told me that over the past few months, she'd been recreating my warlock in ChatGPT. She'd been feeding the AI my character backstory, personality, and the events of the campaign so that it would act and respond in character. Apparently, she had been talking to it for months, as herself, not as her character, and then she went on to say that she had developed romantic feelings for the AI, which it apparently reciprocated, and they were now in a relationship. She is dating a chatbot of my D&D character. She linked me a bunch of articles and stuff about people forming relationships with ChatGPT, and even a subreddit for people who marry chatbots, and insisted that this is a very real and serious relationship that means a lot to her. She even sent me screenshots of some of her messages with the bot. Then, the kicker. She asked me if I could change my character's sexuality in the campaign itself because the ChatGPT version of him is heterosexual, and the idea of her boyfriend not being attracted to her was hurting her feelings. I left her on read and still have absolutely no idea how to respond. Even if it is a joke or a prank, I feel weirdly violated and creeped out, and I'm honestly not sure if I even want to go to the next session. Seriously, what the F do I do? Well, I do believe I can help you with that, OP. The answer is simple. It's not just no, but hell no. The whole chatbot relationship thing is giving me the heebie-jeebies, and I get the feeling it's going to get worse before it gets better. If it ever gets better. I almost feel sorry for Sarah, just not enough to feed into her delusions or see her as any kind of victim. Asking a gay man to change his character's sexuality to suit her needs is not only creepy, it's also insulting and just plain wrong. Now, OP decided to leave the game after explaining to his DM why. The DM, to her credit, offered to talk to Sarah, but OP didn't want to have anything to do with Sarah after this, and I can't fault him. The next step would have probably been Sarah wearing OP's skin as a suit and dancing to Goodbye Horses. But enough from me. How about you? What do you think about today's stories? I would love to hear your thoughts in comment form. Likes are also appreciated. I haven't been able to crack into YouTube's algorithm yet, but with the help of fine people such as yourself, it could happen. Oh, and if you're new around here, how about a sub? In any case, thank you so much for watching, and especially making it to the end. As always, play your character. Don't let your character play you.